The topic of today's discussion is oscillations, which plays a crucial role for the growth of the humankind. The term oscillation is used to explore the new adventures of science and technology, right from the home appliances to the space applications. In our washing machine, the drum makes uniform circular motion, which is oscillation. Similarly, the Earth's rotational motion is a beautiful example for the oscillation. Oscillation has the biggest role even in the smallest particle, say the nanoparticle. The outline of the talk is as follows. At first, we will discuss the prelude about the oscillation used in our daily life. Say for example, how oscillation is used in a bell to make a sound in Ayyanar and Karpasamy temples in villages. The objects or the items that are used or oscillated will be discussed here. Say for example, the baby cradle. We will discuss some of the technologies used or terminologies used in this lesson, like frequency, amplitude, and crest and trough, etc. Then the topic simple harmonic motion will be explained at length, taking into account the spring mass concept to derive the expressions for the equations of motion of the simple harmonic motion and for the total energy of the oscillators like mechanical accelerator and electrical oscillator. The damping is widely used technical word in sound engineering that will be demonstrated in the following sections. Every lecture will have its own style of assessment methods like quiz, tutorial, assignment, and face-to-face discussion, of course to some extent problem solving sessions. The video lecture on this oscillation lesson consists of 6 parts. Each part will be of 5 to 10 minutes duration. So this is Professor Walter Levin, MIT USA, who will explain the oscillation concept. He himself tied up in a rope and made it to diagram that the same the miniaturized version of the previous diagram is this. Just for the sake of simplicity or for sake of derivation, just I am doing we have the small diagram here. And what you can do is using this diagram, we are going to derive an expressions for the displacement, the expression for, say this is a displacement and this is a displacement. So displacement is, just look at this diagram, and the sine theta is equal to PB by A, and finally you'll get the displacement y is equal to A sine omega t. Similarly, you can derive the expression for the velocity. Velocity is the rate of change of the displacement. Substitute this value of y here in the velocity expression, and you will get y is equal to a omega cos omega t. And finally, if you simplify this, you can use some trigonometric functions that basically simple harmonic motion uses the sine functions and cosine functions. What is a sine function is that here, see, the wave is basically a sine wave. Sine function means sine 0 is 0, that means the wave starts from 0. Cos 0 is 1, therefore the wave starts from, the cosine wave starts from the maximum. The sine wave starts from the minimum. Okay, now come back. Now you can use, to derive an expression for the velocity, you can use the trigonometric functions like the trigonometric expression that sine squared theta plus cos squared theta is equal to 1. Use this, you'll get the velocity expression, which is v is equal to omega times square root of a square minus y square. Then you can derive the expression for the acceleration, which is again the rate of change of velocity. Substitute, you'll get simplified, you'll get this one. So that means a, the acceleration, is equal to minus omega square, this y is the displacement. Now look at this beauty of this equation. The acceleration equation is that I told in the previous slide that acceleration is directly proportional to the displacement. Here a is the acceleration and y is the displacement. Therefore, whenever you start oscillating a pendulum, whenever you start oscillating the baby cradle, the baby cradle or a pendulum will start moving from one point to your left side, another point to your right side, and to your left and to your right, to your left and right. So every time it crosses the equilibrium position, it means that when a force is applied to a vibrating particle, say for example, a simple pendulum or compound pendulum, whatever the pendulum that you're talking about, it goes to your, I mean, to your right side and to your left and to your right, to your left, whatever, every time it comes back to the position. That means the acceleration is directly proportional to the displacement. And this diagram in the picture shows that how the vibrating particles moving from one point to another point with respect to the time it's given. Fine, perfect. So therefore, these are some of the equations. So now we are going to discuss about, or we are going to express the equations of motion, like the velocity expression, the acceleration expression, graphically actually. How to express? So these are these that we discussed actually in the previous derivation. That this one, the velocity expression is basically y is equal to a omega cos omega t. Say for example, when you put theta is equal to 0 and your cos theta is equal to cos omega is equal to 1, as a result the velocity starts from the maximum. Just look at the middle of this graph, that V maximum is in the middle of the graph, it gives you. Similarly, when you look at the acceleration, and when you look at this expression, the left side box, that when theta omega t is equal to pi by 2, the sine omega t is equal to 1, as a result your acceleration maximum will be minus omega squared a. Just look at this again, minus omega square in the diagram, it goes down. So therefore the equations of motion of a simple harmonic motion, or the expression for the velocity displacement, the expression for the velocity, and the expression for the acceleration, all these three equations are called the equations of motion of the simple harmonic motion, which are given in the center box of this slide. Perfect. Now, what is the wave? How the wave has been produced, and how the wave movement is characterized, how it has been explained using a physical device called the spring. Hooke has explained the equilibrium position, or the movement of the vibrating particle. That means I told in the previous slide that the particle every time crosses the equilibrium position, that is the center point. Just look at this animation, that the blue color ball, it moves, goes up. Of course, I'm sorry, it doesn't come back. Anyway, so it is not coming back, fine. Anyway, it has to come back. Well, coming back and goes to the left and goes to the right, and it crosses the equilibrium position, that is the center point. The pink color is the equilibrium position, and that it produces, it gives it a wave. I told you in the previous slide again, it is that the waveform is the spring action is like the waveform action. It comes down, goes up, comes down. So that means when a load is given to a spring, the length of the spring is expanded. Expanded from, what I mean is, it expanded. You see, in the absence of the heavy load, what happens is the spring is in the equilibrium position. Just look at the right side diagram. It's in the equilibrium position. Oh, sorry. Oops. Yeah, it is in the equilibrium position. And as a result, what happens is when a load is applied, that means force is given. The force is directly proportional to the displacement of phi. That is, F is directly proportional to the displacement. And when you simplify this equation, you will get F is equal to minus kx. Here, k is the restoring force, or the force constant actually. This force is called the restoring force. K is called the force constant because the forces, see, the minus sign indicates that the spring action, or the vibrating particle is displaced in the opposite direction. It goes down, comes back. It comes in the opposite direction. That is why you're putting the minus sign here in the k, and of course x is the displacement for the equilibrium portion. And let's look at the right diagram of the diagram at the diagram at the right side of the slide, that a spring is there. In the absence of the load, or before applying load, the spring is at the equilibrium position. And you look at another diagram, you are applying a force, I mean, you are applying a load. Now the load is acting in the downward direction or in the upward direction, where you can find out again it crosses the equilibrium position. It just when you apply the force in the the load in the downward direction, it goes down, and at the upward arrow shows that the spring comes up actually. So yeah, it crosses the equilibrium position. Just look at the difference of the elongation in the spring. Again, when you keep on adding the load, what happens is again it goes down. So the third diagram says that this is load is further applied, and when the load is removed from this spring, what happens is comes back to this one. It satisfies what is called the Hooke's law. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is that here in simple harmonic motion, to explain the simple harmonic motion, one has to use the spring constant or the force constant expression. Why? Because simple harmonic motion is a periodic motion. Periodic motion can be explained with the help of the force constant, in which in force constant the concept restoring force is used. Okay, right. Now, what is this? Oops. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Let me check this again. Okay. Oops. Yeah, right. So to summarize this lecture, that we have discussed the definition of simple harmonic motion, that it is when acceleration the acceleration is directly proportional to displacement when the particle comes back and to the equilibrium position every time. Or simple harmonic motion is the periodic motion which repeats itself after regular intervals of time. Yeah, we have derived some simple expression equations for displacement, for the velocity, and for the acceleration, which are called uh, the uh, the equations of motion of the simple harmonic motion, which will be in the differential form. Okay, and all these equations of motion the Hooke's law can be used to validate the equation of motion in which the force constant is used actually. And we discuss spring mass concept, and I will give some we will give some problems for homework and assignments later. Excellent. Okay, fine. So in the next class we will discuss the total energy